Hello, everyone. Economic Ninja here. I hope you're doing well. We're going to talk about the city of Richmond, California. We're going to talk about them adding a new tax to Chevron, the Chevron Refinery in Richmond. We're going to talk about how it's going to lead to losing jobs and higher gas prices. All right, this story comes from a subscriber, and actually a subscriber and a moderator of this channel. And he sends me these articles. I'm going to read through some of the titles. It'll blow your mind. But first, check this out. Richmond collects about $46 million in taxes each year, the city of Richmond, California, from Chevron, which the company says, Chevron says, is already 25% of the city's budget. That is a massive, massive number. So imagine you're a city that brings in 25% of your budget is from one company. Think about that single point of failure. It's a big deal. And they're about to cause an even bigger failure in their own city as hundreds of jobs, if not thousands of jobs, start getting lost, not just at the refinery. All right. Now, first, check out these stories, and then I want you to type one if you believe that none of this money, this added tax, is going to what it says. It's just going to go to line the pockets of the politicians in the city. It says here, environmental activists seek $1 a barrel on Chevron refinery. Do you think those environmentalists are going to get the money? No. It says here, another story, Richmond oil refinery tax on Chevron, a major polluter, moves closer to ballot. See, they're pulling on the heartstrings of the city voters. Vote for this tax, $1 per barrel. Think about this. That money is going into the coffers. Chevron is going to simply do two things. They're going to raise prices on the refinery products to cover the tax, which is going to end up costing more people in the state of California, or wherever that gasoline, diesel flows to. It will cost more. Right? End of story. It's super easy to see this. It's not going to go to the environmentalists. And then it's going to cause Chevron to pull back in its refining out of that specific place, that plant, and it's going to boost it somewhere else. That's how it works until finally they go, what are we doing here? Let's close this down and walk away. Or what we'll do is we'll keep a skeleton crew, because then we don't have to deal with the environmental fallout and the cleanup. That's how this works. We'll keep it just barely running, just barely running. And we don't need all these employees. We don't need all of the trucks to come in empty and leave full kind of thing. It is going to cause tons of jobs. Check out this other story. Richmond ballot measure calls for special tax on Chevron to counter pollution. So here we go. Let's dive into the story. Richmond Council places Chevron tax, here we go, on the November ballot. Measure could bring in between $60 and $90 million annually if approved, but workers worry about their jobs, and they absolutely should worry for their jobs. Hey, if you work in the refinery itself, or you're part of one of the unions, put your union number down below and let me know what's going on and what you guys are thinking about this, because this is an excellent, whether you live in California or not, you have to understand, an excellent example of how the federal government started meddling with minimum wage and over-regulating companies. State governments all over the country are doing it as well, adding you have to pay more for your employees for their benefits or for their hourly wage. And now we've got local governments doing the exact same thing, and it is going to add to massive layoffs. It says out of Richmond, voters will get to decide whether to force Chevron to pay more in taxes after the city council on Tuesday night unanimously agreed to place a refinery tax measure on the November ballot. Well, of course they unanimously agreed. They're going to also, in the future, when this goes through, and I believe it's actually going to go through, it's a sad thing, but I believe it's going to go through, they're also going to unanimously, type 2 if you agree, vote for pay raises. Why wouldn't they? They're going to be bringing in between an additional $60 million and $90 million in the beginning, and they could vote themselves pay raises. You know, something interesting about city councils, because they're all dirty, in my opinion. Type 3 if you agree with that. And they have to be dirty, I guess, because that's just the way the world is. They never vote themselves pay decreases, do they? No, they just lay off the low-level people in the government. They close another government building when times get rough. They never vote themselves pay decreases. It says here, if the measure is approved by a simple majority of voters in the city of Richmond, Chevron would have to pay an additional $60 million to $90 million annually in taxes based on how many barrels of raw material enter the Richmond plant for processing. Please understand, To the city voters, I want you to understand something. Chevron will whoop, turn down the spigot. That means less oil will come in to be refined at that plant. They will simply take the ship and go over to that place because that state is a little bit more friendly. That's why Texas became Texas. The oil refining, the oil discovery, all of that stuff, right? They say, hey, you know what? We're not going to tax you guys. We're not going to have state income tax. We'll bring our taxes in different ways. So it attracts businesses. Richmond, the oil refinery, I've actually got a stein somewhere. I don't know where it is, from the firefighters there. There was a massive fire there a long time ago, a while back. And I've actually been up there. And it's sad because this is exactly what the city council wants. This is what that city government wants. They want you thinking you're going to help the environment, get the bad companies as we line our coffers, we vote more pay raises, and we lay people off. That is the absolute end of story for this thing. And it's going to go through. It's sad. It will go through. Because will this video get out? Hey, like I said, everybody that's affected by this, that knows what's going on, comment down below and paste this video everywhere. Everywhere. Get it rolling. Because it's not just for Californians. It's not just for people who live in Richmond, which is already insanely expensive to live anyway. This is a lesson in economics. You're going to see Chevron simply shrink it down. As a matter of fact, if you've worked for Chevron, hashtag it down below and let everybody know. This is how it works. City council members get richer. People lose more jobs. And the jobs have to filter somewhere else because the refining happens somewhere else. It's just like what happened with Boeing. Boeing said, you know what? To the state, screw you. You've overtaxed us. You've overregulated us. We're leaving. And then they figured out, they freaked out and they said, you can't leave. You'll create this massive deficit. Well, that's what's about to happen in the city of Richmond. It's pretty sad to watch these politicians line their pockets. It's not going to help the earth. It's not going to help the environment in Richmond. They may take a dollar out of every 10 and go, here you go. Here you go. We planted a couple trees for you. It says here the city council's vote came after hours of public comment. An estimated 350 people showed up to the meeting, donning signs, either calling for the council to make polluters pay so we don't have to. Just so you know, a lot of those people actually get paid by certain groups to come out and do that kind of crap. There's a way of figuring that out. There are people that make a living being professional protesters. Type 4 if you understand that and agree with that. There are a lot of people that don't understand this. There's actually job listings in places like Craigslist where they actually look to hire people professionally to protest, and they pay you. It's an absolutely horrible thing, but there's nothing illegal about it. What happens is the silent majority, remember, they're silent and they are the majority. They just have no idea this is going on until it's too late. And all of a sudden, there's all of these jobs lost. Now, it said, this is a great quote. The vote last night was not about improving the lives of the people in Richmond. It was a power grab by activist organizations and city council members who put their interest ahead of the community's interest, Allen said. And this is Ross Allen, a Chevron spokesperson. You know why it's great? Because he's absolutely correct. You know, we're just going to slow down the spigot and we're going to go do business somewhere else. And we're going to have to lay people off because there's not going to be that many trucks coming in or tankers coming in with full loads and then leaving with full loads. There's going to be less refining. And eventually it will lead to massive layoffs. Eventually. It takes some time because Chevron's got to ramp up production somewhere else. And they do have additional refining capabilities at other refineries around the country. This is set up because they want to be able to deal with the shrink and the expansion of the oil supply needs of the country at any given day or hour. These change rapidly, right? It also changes based on the price of the commodity. Remember, this is going to lead to higher gas prices because in the short term, in the interim, while Chevron's like, all right, you're going to tax us, and this is going to happen like in January or whatever, when they pass it, when they vote in November, okay, we're just going to raise the prices of the crap going out. And that's going to affect every single one of you. Every single one of you. Why? Because when one place in the country starts doing it, other places start going, you know, crap, we can get ourselves another nice little $60, $90 million for our coffers too. let's go ahead and put this on the ballot. Let's get some professional protesters out here, scream and yell and sing kumbaya, and then let's make this happen. I wish more people understood that an electric car actually is worse for the environment. Do you understand? Type 5 if you agree with that. The carbon footprint of making that electric car, and then the what's going to happen to recycling of the batteries and those materials for a long time. It doesn't pencil out. It doesn't pencil out right now. It's not going to pencil out in the future until some massive, massive change happens. Hope you got something out of this, guys. Put down what unions you're a part of, what unions are going to be affected as this Richmond tax does take effect. It's going to, because I don't know if you've been paying attention, but a lot of those votes in California, they're fake. See you guys later. The Economic Ninja is out.